All right, guys. So now that we've learned to use different conjugations and different forms of verbs, you should basically breaking down our infinitive into smaller parts to use with subject pronouns to be able to say, he eats breakfast, or I teach, or you listen. Okay, now we're going to use those same conjugations to be able to ask questions. And there's different ways to do that in Spanish. One main way to do that is kind of what we do in English. No, right? So adding like an additional word on the end of a sentence to prompt a question, such as no or right or correct. But we can also do it with our intonation and changing of our structure of our sentence by placing our subject pronoun after our verb. So let's go ahead and get into the PowerPoint. Okay. So let's look at the different basic ways to form a question in Spanish. Okay, now, so we've looked at some of our different conjugations, but we're going to use those conjugations now to ask questions. Okay, and there are three basic ways that we can ask questions in Spanish. Okay, so let's look at these three different examples. Okay, te gusta mucho la tarea. Now, that's just a declarative statement saying you like homework a lot, right? Or no? Okay, so we can put a no on the end of a sentence. And another thing that you might notice with our questions is that before the question begins, there is a upside down question mark. And that's just basically to let you know that the question has begun. Okay, because the first part of this is a declarative statement, right? You like homework a lot, ¿no? Te gusta mucho la tarea, ¿no? Hablas con tu mamá? All right, now that's a change of inflection. There, the sentence is just as you would say if you were saying you speak with your mother, but the change in intonation is what makes it a question. Now, see the difference between me saying the sentence as a statement and saying the sentence as a question. Make sure you're following along here and repeating. Hablas con tu mamá. Okay, see how the end of my statement has kind of a downward tone. I'm not opening up the possibility of a question. I'm not raising my voice as if to ask something, right? Hablas con tu mamá. Okay, see, my tone is going down, whereas when I'm asking the question, hablas con tu mamá, right? Same kind of sentence, same phrase, but my intonation at the end is a little bit on the upslope, right? It makes it seem like I'm interested in knowing something additional with that statement. Hablas con tu mamá? Because obviously we cannot write out a question when we're asking one in speech, okay? So we have to use our intonation and our tone to be able to let people know that we're saying a question, okay? Now, the other way we can also do it is by inverting the subject and the verb. Estudia Mauro. Okay, estudia Maru. Does she study? Right? But if you said Maru estudia, right, you're just saying she studies. Okay, now let's get into this a little bit more. So one way to form a question, like I was saying, is to raise the pitch of your voice at the end of a declarative statement, right? When writing any question in Spanish, make sure, like I said, to use the upside down question mark at the beginning and a regular question mark at the end of the sentence. So let's look at this way. The statement here is, ustedes trabajan los sábados. See how the intonation is going down at the end of the statement saying, that I believe this to be true. Ustedes trabajan los sábados. I know I'm saying that as if I knew it to be fact. Now look at how it changes when I'm trying to ask a question. ¿Ustedes trabajan los sábados? Okay. ¿Ustedes trabajan los sábados? Carlota busca un mapa. Declarative statement. Carlota busca un mapa. Okay, so my tone at the end is letting you know that I'm asking a question. Okay, we can also form a question by inverting the order of the subject and the verb of a declarative statement. Like I said, ustedes trabajan los sábados. Or you can say, trabajan ustedes los sábados. See, I don't even need to make my tone as much different as in this example because I'm inverting the subject and the verb here. Trabajan ustedes los sábados. Okay, versus ustedes trabajan los sábados. Okay, question is when we're inverting the verb and the subject. Very good. Same thing here. Carlota regresa a las 6. Regresa a las 6, Carlota. Or regresa Carlota a las 6. One thing that's interesting to know about Spanish and good to know is that the syntax is not nearly as rigid as you would find in English. The subject-verb order can be a lot more varied and different than we would typically see in English. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, now finally, questions can be formed by adding the tags no or verdad at the end of a statement. Okay, so for example, ustedes trabajan los sábados, no, right? And still you see my intonation change a little bit. My tone does go up when I ask that no or that verdad, right? Carlota regresa a las 6. That's the statement. Verdad, that's making it a question, right? Or no, okay? So these three different ways, by inverting the subject and verb, by changing your intonation at the end of a declarative statement, or by putting on one of these tag words like no or verdad, no or right, at the end of a statement. Okay, now let's look at some of our interrogative words. And interrogative, think about the word interrogate. When you go to a police department and someone is interrogated, all right, they're asked a bunch of questions. So the who, what, when, where, why, hows. Okay, so let's look at these interrogative words. Okay, we have first a donde. Now, a donde is special because it's combining two prepositions, right? A and donde, right? So a donde would be to where are we going? A donde vamos? That would be what you say, to where are we going? Or where are we going to? Which is incorrectly said in English, colloquially accepted. A donde vamos? To where are we going? Okay, ¿cómo is like how, right? ¿Cómo te llamas? How do you call yourself? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Professor Bowers. Me llamo Juan. Okay, so ¿cómo? Another thing you can use ¿cómo for is when someone says a statement in Spanish and you don't understand or you don't hear it. Okay, that's a great way to get someone to repeat the statement. You can say ¿cómo? If someone says, bueno, vamos a ir ahí los sábados y los domingos. And you're like, ¿cómo? I didn't understand that. You're way too fast, right? Más despacio. ¿Cómo? Más despacio, por favor. ¿Cómo? Okay, so it's like how or what. But ¿cómo te llamas? What's your name, right? How do you call yourself? ¿Cómo estás? How are you, right? Well, some of our questions that we've learned in this semester so far have dealt with that word ¿cómo, right? Now, ¿cuál es? All right, we've already looked at that too. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What's your name? Or which, okay? If you're eliciting a response that wants from a list, you're going to use cuál, right? And we'll get into that later in 1102, but cuál is which or can also mean what in many circumstances, okay? ¿Cuándo? ¿Cuándo is when? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? El mío es en abril. Mi cumpleaños es en abril. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Or ¿cuándo vas al gimnasio? When are you going to the gym? ¿Cuándo tienes clase? ¿Cuándo desayunas? When do you eat breakfast? ¿A qué hora? Right? It's kind of the same thing. ¿Cuándo? When? Okay. Now let's look at cuánto or cuántos. Cuántas, cuánta, okay, essentially the same thing. When it's singular, cuánto, it's how much. When you're saying with a plural noun, ¿cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? Hay 20 estudiantes, right? So how many for plural? And it looks like quantity almost, right? Quanta almost sounds like that, quantity. So you're asking how much or how many, okay? ¿De dónde? Now, that's a little bit different from a dónde, and it's also different from dónde, right? Because this is also combining two prepositions, de, from or of, and dónde. So we've seen this. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Yo soy de Rock Hill, South Carolina. Oh, yo soy de Georgia. ¿De dónde eres? From where are you? Now, in English, you have to remember, we say, where are you from? Colloquially, right? That's not academic speech because you're not supposed to end a sentence in a preposition. So Spanish already does that for us. ¿De dónde eres? From where are you? Right? From where are you? Where are you from, essentially? ¿A dónde? To where are you going? ¿A dónde vamos? To where are we going? And then ¿dónde? That's just when you're asking, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? Where is the library? Not from where are you or to where are we going? So that would just be using where. Okay. ¿Dónde está mi clase? Where is my class? Okay, bien. All right, now we have ¿por qué? ¿Por qué is like, for what are you doing this? Or essentially, if you break that down into the two words that belong there, ¿por qué, for what? Or essentially, why, right? For what are you doing this? For what is pretty much why. Why are you doing it? What's the reason? ¿Por qué? Okay, so that would be why. Then we have qué. Okay, that's what or which. When qué is when which, when you need to use the word which in English, or excuse me, in Spanish, but it's followed directly by a noun, you would use qué. ¿Qué clases tienes? Even though that's saying which, like from cuál, when it's followed by a noun, you use qué. ¿Qué clases tienes? Tengo biología, matemáticas y la filosofía. Okay, perfecto. Now, ¿quién? ¿Quién is like who? ¿Quién es tu profesor de español? Mi profesor de español es Professor Bowers. ¿Quién es tu profesor de biología? Okay, ¿quién? Who, right? And then we have quiénes. Okay, that would be the plural form. ¿Quiénes son tus profesores? Mis profesores son Dr. Lytle, Dr. Pleasure y Dr. Camp. Okay, muy bien. Aquí tenemos las palabras interrogativas. Palabras interrogativas. Interrogative words. Okay, now to ask a question that requires more than a yes or no answer, you're going to want to use one of those interrogative words. Because if you didn't, right? Let's look at these sentences. ¿Trabajan ustedes los sábados? Sí. Yes. Right? ¿Regresa a las 6, Carlota? Sí. No. Okay. Yes or no, right? Because you're not asking when, where, why, how, which. Okay. That's why we need to use these interrogative words to elicit more than a yes or no response. Okay. So in your assignment, you'll be doing this as well. So, ¿cuál de ellos estudia en la biblioteca? Which of them studies in the library? ¿A dónde caminamos? ¿A dónde vamos, right? To where are we walking? ¿Cuántos estudiantes hablan español? How many students speak Spanish? ¿Por qué necesitas hablar con ella? So these are eliciting something that you need to say more than sí o no, right? ¿Por qué necesitas hablar con ella? Porque es mi hermana, because she's my sister, algo así. ¿Dónde trabaja Ricardo? Trabaja en Piedmont College. ¿Quién enseña la clase de arte? Profesor Hitzelberger enseña la clase de arte. Okay. ¿Qué clases tomas? ¿Qué clases tomas? What classes are you taking? And there's an example of, even though you're kind of saying which classes are you taking, it's followed by a noun there. So we have to use qué instead of cuál. So, ¿qué clases tomas? You have to list your classes. You can't just say sí o no on that. ¿Cuánta tarea hay? How much homework is there? ¿Cuánta tarea hay? Mucha. Mucha tarea, ¿no? Muy bien. Okay. Now, when you pronounce this type of question, the pitch of your voice is going to fall at the end of the sentence. And this is not rigid. If you have one of these words in here, you're going to be assumed that you're asking a question. ¿Cómo llegas a clase? ¿Cómo llegas a clase? See how my voice kind of falls at the end there? Okay. The focus of my higher intonation is on the question word, and then I finish the rest of the statement. ¿Por qué necesitas estudiar? ¿Por qué necesitas estudiar? You hear my voice going up, and then it goes down for the rest of the sentence. ¿Cómo llegas a clase? ¿Por qué necesitas estudiar? Okay, so when you're using one of these question words, that's the type of intonation that you will have. Now, notice the difference between por qué, which is written as two words. For what are you doing this? For what do you study Spanish? ¿Por qué estudias español? It's essentially asking why, right? But it's really, for what do you study Spanish? Well, because it is fun. Porque es divertido. O porque es interesante. O porque me gusta, ¿no? So it's going to be written as two words when you're asking the question. And another thing I want you guys to notice, look at all of these question words. We've talked about the different uses of accents. One is to differentiate between words that are spelled the same. Two is to mark the stress or the emphasis of a certain syllable that may be going against the typical rules that we have in Spanish. And third would be to identify a question word. So each one of these question or interrogative words contains an accent mark. Don't forget that. That's muy importante. Muy importante. Okay? Muy bien. Now, in Spanish, no can mean both no and not. Okay? I don't think I missed anything back here. Okay. can mean both no and not. Now, therefore, when answering a yes or no question in the negative, you need to use the no twice, okay? Caminan a la universidad. And remember, this is questions that do not contain one of those interrogative words, right? Caminan a la universidad. You all walk to the university? No. So first, I'm answering the question by saying no, right? We don't walk, okay? So we also need to negate the verb. No, we do not walk. We do the same thing in English, right? We say first, no, we do not walk to the university. No, no caminamos a la universidad. Or sí, caminamos a la universidad. If you're asking or answering in the affirmative, sí, there's our answer. And then caminamos a la universidad. We do walk to the university. Remember, there's those three different ways you can express different tenses in you just by using the present tense, right? You can say he works there, he is working there, he does work there, right? So also in this sentence, no, no caminamos a la universidad. No, we do not walk to the university. Or sí, caminamos a la universidad. Yes, we do walk to the university. So make sure when you're negating a yes or no question that you use both no's, right? One to answer the question and the other to negate the verb. All right, guys, thanks very much. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned a decent amount about las preguntas and cómo formar las preguntas. So make sure you see the assignment below, and I will see you soon. No, chao, nos vemos, muchas gracias, y nos vemos pronto. Adiós.